everybody. It's Dr. Cindy. Welcome to the Positively Altered podcast. I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist, and here on the podcast, we talk about all things health related, maybe physical, maybe spiritual, maybe emotional, a little bit of everything with absolutely no filter. We say what we feel like saying, and today is going to be no exception because we are going to welcome back a guest that we have had before. Super excited about it. And we're going to talk a little bit about statin drugs. In this country, they are absolutely overprescribed. They are a go-to right away when we have some alternatives. And I think it's really important that we get educated in this space because not only are they not always effective, but they're actually doing harm and they're doing damage and they're causing other side effects. And we're going to run down that course today with our next guest. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back to discuss statins.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? Welcome back to the Positively Altered podcast. I am your host, Dr. Cindy, and we have a repeat offender this week, and I'm super excited, and I mean that in the most positive way. And to celebrate, we are twin setting, in case you are watching, with our Positively Altered hats, because my friend Amanda Yu was in Italy with the hat representing Positively Altered. We finally got her back now to the United States, back to the podcast. Amanda, it's round 2.
Yes, I know. I got banned from TikTok still.
Well, you know what's funny is I actually got banned from YouTube for one of the podcasts because, we like to speak our own truths. That doesn't mean it's everybody's truth, but, we're entitled, right? Like freedom of speech. Let's just say what we feel and what we think. And I was really excited to get banned from YouTube because, everybody loves a train wreck. So now we're promoting the heck out of the fact that we're banned. Great. So I love it. Let's get ourselves banned again. What do you think?
Okay. All right. Yes. Let's be authentically us.
I'm in. And I would challenge everybody to be authentically themselves because why not? Right?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? All right. So let's get into some meat and potatoes today. No pun intended there, because sometimes meat and potatoes affects our health, not always in a good way, sometimes in a great way. You never know. But I want to dive down this whole drug concept, right? So your background is in pharmacy. I love that. And yet you do lots of other things in your life that facilitate good health other than prescription drugs. how did this whole like prescription drug mess in the United States start, in your opinion, right? Like that's what we turn to. It's like our first magic answer for when we don't feel good is to reach for a pharmaceutical drug.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've been a pharmacist for over 30 years, but just to put it out there, I don't take medications. I dispense them, but I don't take them. And yes, our society, we just so quickly to reach for medication. We reach for this quick fix instead of asking ourselves, why is this happening? Why do we have high blood pressure? Why do we have high cholesterol? I mean, why are we sick, right? Instead of asking the why, we immediately reach, what can I take? I mean, I get asked these questions a lot at the pharmacy. What can I take for this? What can I take for that? It's like, instead of, what are you doing? Are you sleeping? Are you moving? Are you drinking water? Are you eating real food?
Right.
But today we're talking about statins, right?
We are, but before we get there, because I think this is really important for our listeners, right? Is even if we need to take something, and I agree with you, what are we doing to get there is really important. But let's say we're really at a point where we do need help or we're not willing to make the change. How important is it for people to understand that just because there's a prescription pill doesn't mean that's the best choice, even in reaching for, right, a pill to take. There are herbs and vitamins and minerals and homeopathic remedies and all kinds of other things that really behave not only in their mechanism of action, but in their effectiveness just as good, if not better, a lot of times than some of the pharmaceutical drugs.
Absolutely, yes, because all drugs comes from nature, right? Because like scientists sees that there's a benefits from a certain compound, from a compound from a leaves, a tree, or a plant, and they are able to design medication mimicking the nature. But the thing is, when it becomes a drug, when it's synthetic, our bodies don't recognize those. And all medications have side effects. And we undermine our own body's intelligence, right? We are designed to heal. The body is designed to heal. And we are all connected with nature, with the sunlight, with the trees, with the earth. And we are disconnecting ourselves from the whole, from nature. And we become dis-ease when that happens. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, right? We get away from that. And it's funny, so we can run down the statin conversation now, because the joke is, as I tell people when I teach, nobody is born with a statin deficiency.
I
Right?
love
Like at
that.
the end of the day, there's not a blood test that goes, wow, you're low on statin today. You better take 50 milligrams of this in order to get your nature back up to where it was. But yet, and you probably know the numbers better than I do. I'd love to rattle off a statistic that, of course, I did not prepare to give to our listeners today. But in terms of, how many prescriptions are written for statin drugs daily, that really it would be interesting to look at and say, how many of those are really actually essential? And I would guess probably not too
Millions.
many.
Yeah.
Right. Millions of prescriptions, but not too many that wind up being essential for people.
Oh yes, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there ever a day in your practice that you do not administer a statin?
No, there's not a day that ever since I graduated from pharmacy school in the 90s. Statins has been around since the 80s, and it quickly became the number one prescribed medication for cholesterol. But the kicker is, yet heart disease remains the number one cause of death, right? I mean, if statins work, we should see a dramatic decrease in heart disease. But no, today, the number one cause of death globally, it's still cardiovascular disease. So
It reminds me, do you remember the milk campaign? All the celebrities that would wear the milk mustache and they'd be in the
oh yes,
magazine. Do you remember
yes,
that, right?
yes,
Okay. And
yes.
that came out a little bit after I started practice. I'm dating myself now. And I laugh because, that whole campaign was to get rid of osteoporosis, right? If you drink your milk, you won't become osteoporotic. And yet we look at that generation and the numbers are staggering as to how much osteoporosis there still was, because drinking milk, let's face it, again, nobody's born with a milk deficiency, didn't cure our epidemic of osteoporosis. So statins are kind of in that same boat now, right? Like we're dosing them out at massive amounts, and yet heart disease is the number one killer, right? So where's the disconnect, do you think, in the education, that we keep buying the same story, and yet the disease is still very prevalent and we're not getting better numbers?
Right. Perhaps cholesterol is not the enemy, right? We need cholesterol.
I think, you know what? I think you just hit it right on the head, right? Like, I always learned in school, and, I forget most of my science, right? Let's face it. I memorized the textbooks to pass my biology and chemistry classes, and then you move on to clinical work. But like, a cell cannot actually live without cholesterol in it, right? The mitochondria of the cell needs cholesterol to function, to provide energy, to manufacture hormones, right? So like, if we continue to drive down cholesterol so low, how is it that we can expect to not be diseased when we don't have what the cells actually need to perform in the body?
Exactly. I mean, take my mother-in-law, for example. She's 79 years old, right? And she's been taking a statin for over 20 years. She got cancer when her LDL was at its lowest, when her total cholesterol was at its lowest, and she had cancer. She overweight, she's inflamed, and chronic pain. So what does that tell you? I mean, and we actually need LDL. LDL is a carrier. LDL is part of the immune system as well, right? If we shut that down, I mean, how is the body supposed to protect itself?
Good question, but yet we want to drive that so low, right? Like that's the goal, I think, for a lot of practitioners, is let's see how low we can get these numbers.
Right. To the point that we have dementia.
Oh, right. How low was your mother's cholesterol? Was her total cholesterol when she was diagnosed?
And let me see here. I have data.
Okay, perfect.
It's like,
Amanda's got the resources right at her fingertips.
because I got her off statin, so that's why. It's like I have
Okay.
this. I got her off statin. She was on statin for 20 years. She's diagnosed with type 2 diabetes for over 15 years. But by addressing using lifestyle, I was able to help her lower her cholesterol, triglyceride mainly, right? Nobody's looking at triglyceride. They're just looking at LDL and trying to prescribe statin to put down LDL. There's more to LDL than just looking at the total LDL. There's different parts of LDL, right? So when she was diagnosed with cancer, her LDL was 75 and her total cholesterol was 155.
Wow.
Wheelchair bound cancer. And
So by medical standards, great numbers, right? By medical standards.
by medical standard, it's perfect, right? Yeah. But
Right.
she's in pain. She can't sleep. She's overweight. She has type 2 diabetes. She has cancer. And she's starting to lose her memory. Alzheimer's, dementia, all that with statin on board, with metformin on board. And guess what?
If you can't remember you're sick, Amanda, it doesn't matter. The statin's working.
Right? Yeah, I love it. But look, let me share you. Today, her LDL is 209.
Okay.
Her total cholesterol is 303, but her triglyceride, it went from 242 to 99.
Wow.
And her HDL went from 50 to 77. So we're actually increasing her good cholesterol and lowering triglyceride, which is the harmful lipid, which is the blood fat, how I explained it, that can lead to plaque formation. So, and she's walking, she lost 20 pounds and her memory is returning. So what are we doing? I mean, I'm prescribing statins on a regular basis. I go to work later today, by the way, and I'll be prescribing statins all day long. And it's very sad. It's very disheartening as a pharmacist, as someone in healthcare, and dispensing statins and metformin and injections all day long, knowing that, hey, there are natural alternatives that you can do. You can address lifestyle. You can learn how to eat real food, learn how to use time restricted eating, learn how to use some targeted supplements to support your body at a cellular level to heal, to reverse these conditions and get off medications.
Yeah, let's talk about the time restricted food a little bit. What if somebody's starting in that realm? Where do they start?
If someone starts if you've never practiced time restricted eating before, I advise my clients to just push back breakfast a couple hours each day or each week. If, just instead of waking up and then drink coffee with sugars or go have Dunkin' Donuts or toast or cereals, all that, just push back a couple hours, because when you first wake up in the morning, your glucose is already low, your insulin's already low, you have already metabolized all the meal that you had the night before, hopefully is fiber, protein, and healthy fat, and not pizza or pastas and processed food. It's already low. So give your body a chance to rest and repair a little bit longer. And when the insulin is low, the glucose is low, that's when your body's able to tap into your own stored fat and burn some of those triglyceride and pull out triglyceride and utilize that for fuel. Now you're burning now you're running on ketones rather than on glucose that you're feeding your body. I think many people have this misunderstanding that you have to eat constantly. You have to eat every 2 to 3 hours to maintain your metabolism, which is a myth. Eating that way is what leads us to insulin resistance. It's what's spiking glucose all day long and insulin. Many of us, according to CDC's, 93% of adult Americans are considered metabolically sick.
Isn't that amazing?
That's only 7% of us are considered metabolically healthy.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And yet I think a lot of, to your point, we ignore that triglyceride level, right? We're so focused on that total, just that total number, not ratios, not particles, not inflammation. It's interesting. We do a lot of testing in the office where we look at 7 inflammatory markers and cardiovascular disease that, quite frankly, even the cardiologists aren't running or looking at. And yet people are getting clean bills of health and their cholesterol sitting at that 150, which I think is borderline too low. And, yet the inflammation markers are through the roof. And then you hear these stories of like, oh, she was so healthy. How did she just drop dead? Well,
right.
She didn't drop dead because, the cholesterol was 170, right? She dropped dead because of chronic inflammation that the statins aren't even addressing, right? So we work so hard just to lower this one marker. And if we're walking around inflamed, we're a time bomb.
Exactly. I mean, insulin resistance is affecting, I don't know the exact number, but 93% adult Americans are considered metabolically sick. That means insulin resistance is affecting probably 80%. I think one number is like 88% at one time. So, and 80% of the people do not know that they have insulin resistance because many providers do not test for fasting insulin because there's no medications to treat insulin resistance. And it takes about 10 to 15 years for the insulin to keep rising before you get a diagnosis of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes.
Right. Yeah, we always recommend that, most doctors are running just a glucose, right? That day, hopefully fasting, but just that day. We've got to make sure everybody out there are running a hemoglobin A1C. They're running a fasting insulin level. They're getting the triglycerides as part of that because it's not just in the cholesterol panel, right? But in the blood sugar panel. We always recommend getting an amylase and lipase so we can look at pancreatic function, right? And even just starting with that handful of blood markers, I think is a huge jump in the right direction versus, we ran your glucose, it's 102, who cares?
Right.
Right? And it gets ignored because, there's not enough information to really assess for metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance.
Yes. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but so hopefully we see more practitioners now are starting to order more advanced lipid panels, at least in my community. So that's hopeful. Another thing about statins that most people probably do not know is that, perhaps statin is targeting the wrong part of the LDL. So you had mentioned, there's different parts of LDL. Statins itself, when you take a statin, it increases the receptors in the livers to bind the good cholesterols. So you see a lowering of LDL, total LDL, but you're lowering the good cholesterol and leaving behind the oxidized LDL. So you see the number lower and it looks good on paper, but yet you're lowering the total LDL, but you're increasing the oxidized LDL, the part that's more harmful.
And how often do you see that that's even checked?
Right. So, I mean, unless doctors order advanced lipid panels to check the particle size, then you will not know. If you just look at the total LDL, that's, probably part of why cardiovascular disease is still the number one cause of death, despite statins being around for over 30 years.
Okay, so let's play the card that somebody really does have elevated bad particles. They have poor ratios, right, of good to total or good to triglycerides. We always look for ratios of like 2-1, 3-1 max on the good to the total. But we see patients, with ratios of 7 and 8, not good ratios at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than reaching for the statin, which we know is the choice in the medical world, what are some of your favorite alternatives that we could prescribe or take if we don't want to go down the statin route, but we do see that there is still something we need to address that's out of whack?
Right. So how I took my mother-in-law through this health journey and got her off a statin at 79 years old. She loves rice. She loves fruit. Her breakfast, wakes up in the morning, she eats a bowl of cereals with fruit. And that's what elevated her glucose and her insulin levels. So push, like I mentioned before, push back breakfast, incorporate intermittent fasting or time restricted eating to lower your glucose, to lower your insulin. What people don't realize is that when you have too much glucose, that excess glucose gets stored as fat, as triglycerides. So understanding that, I think education is key. But if you want to lower your cholesterol, time restricted eating, incorporate supplements that I use. Fiber is a crucial part if you want to lower your cholesterol, because fiber not only helps to regulate glucose, but it also helps with the gut microbiome. It helps to reduce the metabolism of carbohydrates, of processed food, and helps to lower insulin and allows your body to become more insulin sensitive. So by addressing insulin resistance, first and foremost, will help to lower your cholesterol.
Okay, so let's talk about fiber, because I have patients that walk in and they're like, oh, I picked up Metamucil. And after I make my face, because what I think comes out in my facial expressions, right? We start to educate them on the different types of fiber and what's better. What would be your recommendation then? Because again, just saying fiber, for people who are listening that aren't in this space, they might not really know what to pick up. And they just go to the grocery store and pick up something that we would deem garbage. So where do people start with good quality fiber products?
Right. Yes. You need soluble and insoluble fiber to form this gelatinous matrix. I use a product, it's called Balance. So it has over 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers. And it has been studied by the University of Sydney, the Cleveland Clinics, has shown to help people reduce cholesterol if taken it on a regular basis. On a population basis, it actually helps to reduce the need and the dose for lipid lowering drugs. So what we have in this supplement is a natural statin, essentially. And I don't know if I'm allowed to show it comes in a packet. It comes in a packet like
Oh,
this.
and it's our favorite color.
Yeah, orange. Yay. Yeah, right. And it tastes like orange Julius. I drink this every day. So I lower my triglyceride 40%.
Wow.
Yeah. That's huge, right? I mean, so that's all I do. I mix this in cold water and drink it right before my meal. And this is how I'm able to help my mother-in-law get off statin and lower her cholesterol and reverse type 2 diabetes.
I love it. What about any opinions you have on products like red rice yeast extract, niacin, pycnogenols? I mean, there's a whole host of other things that people are recommending to lower, some of these markers as well. Do you feel that they can be just as effective as the fiber, or is fiber really the go-to?
My husband had been dealing with cholesterol all his adult life. He had been taking red yeast rice for many years. It has not brought down his cholesterol, mainly the triglyceride, to this level. He reduced his like 50% with this product. So this product has been around for over 30 years and it's patent. And so, I mean, other products, other supplements do work for some people. But so far, this is my go-to, and more people, more providers, practitioners are now offering this to their patients as an alternative, especially HSA and FSA are covering this now too.
Nice. Yeah, because we know the insurance game, right? Most people want everything covered by insurance, and we know the pharmaceutical drugs typically are. And yet when we reach for something that doesn't have that prescription, sometimes we're paying out of pocket for that.
We can teach people to save money, actually. We can teach it. This can be a cost neutral or save money. We had a gentleman who's on Medicare and he was on 25 medications, Dr. Cindy, 25 medications. And he got off of 23 of them out of 25 using this protocol, using time restricted eating, drinking the other tea. It's a concentrated yerba mate tea to help shut off the food noise. So that will help to make fasting easy. People who are looking for a natural GLP-1 Ozempic. I have a tea that I drink every morning. That's my breakfast. And then the fiber before you eat your meal. It's a very simple protocol. Of course, these are not miracle supplements by any means, but it's a tool that we can use to help make fasting easy, to help support the gut microbiome, to help slow down gastric emptying, to help regulate blood glucose, insulin. And this is how we can take back our health. This is how we can heal from the root. And of course, manage stress, sleep, move, drink water, go outside, get some free vitamin D, all that good stuff, right?
Yes, I love it. I think that's the key, right? Is it takes a little bit more work versus popping a pill. And I know not everybody out there wants to do it, but we're here to encourage you to do so. Get to the root cause, fix the underlying issue. And just everybody, please remember, nobody is born with a drug deficiency. It doesn't exist on the planet. There is not a cellular need in the body for any prescription medication. And although I know there is a time and a place for some, right? Sometimes it is extremely appropriate. I think we're reaching for it just way too fast and way too often. Amanda, we have to take a quick commercial break, but you know the routine. We come back. I've got some new rapid fire questions for you. You want to play?
All right. I'm ready.
All right, everybody hang tight. We're going to listen to a couple sponsors. We're going to be right back with Amanda Yu. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. Let's get into our rapid fire questions. You ready?
All right. What's a rapid fire question? Go.
I'm going to ask you a question that has nothing to do with anything, and I just want to know your answer.
Ah!
All right. You ready?
Yes. Yeah.
If there was one article of clothing you never had to wear again, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Bra.
You know what? We just started answering. We just started asking that question, and every single female we have had on the program, that is their answer, hands down. So clearly, I think that there is something wrong with society that none of us want to wear it. I think we need to go back. Was it the 60s that women burned their bras? Was that?
Yes. Yeah, we should.
I think we need to bring that back.
Yeah, we'll get banned from others.
Listen, what difference does it make if they're hanging or they're upright? I mean, really, at the end of the day, right? We can't leave home without them. It doesn't make a difference.
Right. So we went to a museum, right? We went to a museum in Italy, Uffizi Museum, and my husband is like, why are all the painting is like, it's all nude. It's all nude pictures.
You know, so I'm going to give you a little insight into how my brain works in the strange world that I live in when I'm, by myself thinking. And I kid you not, this true story. This morning, I got up, I got into the shower, right? You get in the shower, there's no clothes on, you're naked. I actually had the thought to myself of like, how did clothing actually start, right? And I was thinking back to like, okay, you slaughtered the animal, you ate the animal, you saved the hide, you used it right as protective clothing. And I get back in the day when we didn't have shelter, you needed something to keep you warm. But I actually had this thought this morning, like, what if we never discovered clothing? And actually it started with, I wonder who came up with towels. Because I'm thinking back in the day, we took a shower. We probably just had to stand there drip dry, right? Because towels didn't exist for the entire history of the world. So all of a sudden we figured out how to manufacture towels, and now we're manufacturing clothes. What if we just never did that? What if we all just walked around naked everywhere we went? And it was just socially acceptable. So it wasn't weird to see that. I mean, the money we would save on clothes, and just even the stress of like, oh, I don't like the way, I mean, like, right, we put on our hat today. I was having a bad hair day. Like, the stress of all of that would just go away. Yeah. So I want to burn the bras. I want to get back to naked.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's liberating.
Oh my gosh. I probably would be the first
Julie is like, oh my God, you two are gone off the deep end.
I don't know. So if anybody sees me walking around town naked, please don't call the police. Okay. I haven't completely lost my mind. It's a social experiment.
Like, who let her out?
Right. That's the problem, Amanda. Nobody would let me out. I do it myself. And that's part of the issue. I just go. Nobody stops me. All right. If you could be any superhero or cartoon character, who would you pick?
I think I would pick, what's that? The speed guy, the superhero, the Quick?
Flash.
Flash. That's it. Quick. Yes, I'll be Flash.
Amanda, you can create your own superhero character. I think Quick is it. I'm in.
Yeah, Quick, Flash, no bra. And what was the last time my mode of transportation? I chose walking.
Yeah. So I think when they make a movie about Dr. Amanda and Dr. Cindy and we co-star in it, right? We can do a cameo as Quick, and I still like to be Wonder Woman because I got the breasts for it. So, the uniform pretty good, but, we'll channel our inner superhero and cartoon character. All right. What would you consider to be the best invention ever? And I know you're not going to say the bra.
The best invention ever. Not the bra, not medications.
We have a whole list of the no's, right? Of the bad inventions.
We have a whole list of the no's. How much time do I have? It's supposed to be quick, right?
I know, but I say that, and it's never quick, ever. We've never done a quick rapid fire, ever, in the history of the Positively Altered podcast.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
I think, I think maybe cell phone, but there's good and bad in the cell phone.
Right. But still a pretty cool invention.
It's a pretty cool invention. It allows us to connect from the other side of the world.
Yes.
Right?
It's great.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
is. If we use it correctly.
Truth. All right. Dress shoes, gym shoes, or flip-flops?
Flip-flop.
See, that one was easy. That was rapid fire.
Yes.
All right, Amanda, I always ask this question at the end, and I know this is our second time around, but did you have a new favorite thing about doing the podcast today that was different from last time?
I like to wear the hat. I like our twin hats. Yes.
I love the hat. I know we've got a couple more recordings today. I think I'm going to rock the hat all day. I
think so.
I think so. Absolutely. So I love that you started the trend. We'll get more people wearing the Positively Altered cap around town. And
I love it.
Naked with a pink hat. I think it's our new look.
Julie.
Yeah, Julie, my producer in the background, is just cracking up because she knows that I would do something ridiculous like that. Julie's going to keep her clothes on, though. I can almost guarantee it, Amanda. She's not going to join us in the naked event.
Who's going to see this podcast?
Listen, I mean, it's out in the world. Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
Who knows? And just for the record, if you're listening and you're clicking on the video to see if we are naked, we are not. So, no surprise if you click on the video today. I'm sorry to disappoint. Or
only pink hats.
Be safe. Only pink hats. Amanda, it has been an absolute pleasure. How does everybody find you, follow you, get to know you? Where can they, check you out?
RestoreDigestion.com, my website, probably the safest. Nobody can ban me there. Everywhere else, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, we'll make sure your link goes into our show notes. We are definitely not going to ban you. We love having you as a guest. It has been an absolute pleasure. If you want to learn more about what's going on in my world, please check me out at drcindyspeaks.com. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you at hello@drcindyspeaks. You can pick up the book Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag at your favorite bookstore or certainly on Amazon. And if you have any interest in bringing me in as a keynote speaker, I love to stand on stage and just give you all kinds of fun information. So check out the website for that as well. Amanda, this again has been absolutely fantastic. I know we're going to have you back because you are just so much fun and a wealth of knowledge. I hope that everybody today has been left positively altered.